Good afternoon, friends. I think it's a very interesting session today, where we are, getting into leadership, and I think leadership and capacity building go hand in hand, because you cannot do capacity building without leadership traits, bringing the right leadership. And I think why we are doing it, because we are all here for a better tomorrow. We are all building together a better tomorrow, and I think one area of leadership is capacity building. Of course, leadership has many applications, but one is capacity building. And we know that in healthcare we are undergoing, the landscape is totally changing. There is a lot of technology, there is a lot of complexity. The demand in quality has grown tremendously in the last couple of years. And we also have a very meager resources. So how do we utilize resources very optimally as a leader so that we bring about that change? I think a leader and a leadership becomes it becomes like a beacon light, a catalyst to bring about that change. And when it comes to leadership style, which I'm very sure Professor Sanjiv Kumar will enlighten us, but the dictum is no one fits all. There is no style which fits all, and every author has its own leadership, and we will also talk about that a little bit better. But we must realize that every person has got that hidden or latent leadership attributes in him. All we got to do is, sensitize that, bring that out. See, there are two schools of thoughts. One is leaders are born, but another school of thought is the leaders are not born, leaders are created. And that's why I think we are all here. Let me hand over the mic to Professor Kumar Kharbanda, please. Dr. Kharbanda, you want to say?
Yes, I want to say a lot of things actually. But the first thing I wish to say is that I am very happy to be here. And we as medical professionals are true expert in the some specialties or super specialty, but we sometimes forget how to build up that specialty for masses or for general purpose. For that reason, we need advocacy, and if you have to learn advocacy, then advocacy can become leaders in that field. I won't take much time, as our esteemed speaker is ready to talk. And at the end, maybe we can give some observations that what struggle we went through to reach this year. So that could be an, you can say, case study at the end. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. First, it is an honor. Three eminent leaders in the field of health. Dr. Mahesh Verma, I started interacting with him when he was in Maunara Medical College, and he took initiative, led the tobacco program of the country, and the meeting I attended was chaired by the Principal Secretary herself, and a great mobilizer for the program. And it's not a surprise that he is now Vice Chancellor of 2 universities and has been given additional charge a few days back. Dr. O.P. Kharbanda, I have been interacting with him since my days at National Health System Resource Center, sir. And he was on almost all the important committees which ministry had constituted. And of course, we have talked about Dr. Gupta, our old association from our days in. I will start with capturing what was said in the concluding session by the chair. One, carry the team with you, especially in crisis. That's what Dr. P.P. Verma talked about. Dr. Y.K. Gupta mentioned, leaders do not do different things. They do things differently. They do meticulously with eye for details, कोई गलती नहीं होना चाहिए, quality, excellence in quality, no compromise on that. लोगों को विश्वास होता है कि इनको अगर काम दे दिया तो कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है दोबारा पूछने की, क्वालिटी के बारे में चेक करने की. The last point some of you mentioned, not listening is like treating a patient without taking history. It's that important. You cannot treat a patient without taking history, and if you don't listen, this is like treating a patient without even asking to उनका तबीयत क्या है. मैं बता रहा हूँ ना ये इलाज कर लो. उससे पूछा ही नहीं उसको तकलीफ क्या. So these are some of the things I wanted to capture from the previous session. We will be talking about application now. Without application, leadership theories and models and concepts are only theory. Unless you apply them, bring them to a level where you can apply each one of them to develop your own capacity and to develop capacity of others in your team. So this is what we will be talking about. ये मेरा कहना तो नहीं मानता.
He wants to be listened to.
Yes, good. So we will talk about how concepts and theories of leadership can be applied for capacity building. Use the concepts, especially focus on two concepts: 3-domain leadership model and 5 levels of leadership, as written by James P. Collins. And we will come to what exactly that is. Every one of you has a leader in you. Every one of you has a leader in you. You have to identify that leader and groom that leader. So that's what one of you were saying. Leaders are not born, leaders are made. Some of us are born with some characteristics which make it easier to adopt leadership skills, but 100% leaders are made, not born. Every one of us has the potential to be a leader. And those of you who want to read, all of you know about Dale Carnegie, How to Influence and Influence People. So he has written this book, The Leader in You, which emphasizes this point that each one of us has a leader. How do we groom that leader to become more effective? Leadership is defined, coming back to what we did in the last session, just to recapture that. Leadership is defined as an ability to influence a group towards achieving goal. You have खुद नहीं काम करना, आपकी टीम से करवाना है. That is leadership. खुद तो करते रहो, you are Fannekha. We will come to it where that Fannekha stands, who is technically very competent. Leadership is the race today. आप Google करो leadership पे, you will find thousands of books and 100,000 of articles on leadership. So everybody is started writing about leadership, whether they know about it or whether they don't know about it. No consensus on the right mix of qualities of a leader. Challenge is in choosing most appropriate concept of leadership to develop leadership skills. And that's where 3-domain model and 5 levels come in. Leadership is capacity to translate vision into reality. We have talked about that in the previous session. This is how leadership capacity building has developed over a period of time. You briefly mentioned when we were in primary school, my father used to get me books from the library. पढ़ो पढ़ो सरदार पटेल के बारे में पढ़ो, नेल्सन मंडेला के बारे में, लूथर किंग के बारे में पढ़ो, महात्मा गांधी. I never became Luther King, I never became Mahatma Gandhi. So this is a good, this was a good concept, but makes you feel paralyzed. कि मैं क्या करूँ, मैं महात्मा गांधी तो बन नहीं सकता. The second phase was they started looking at behavior. The leaders have a behavior and what we can learn from that behavior. The third phase was contingency era. There were different theories, and one of you was talking in the lunch break. Leader may be successful in one situation and utter failure in the next situation. And I don't remember who said that. One of you said Churchill was a great leader during the war. And when the war was over, he was one of the worst leaders. So you don't have a leadership style which fits. You don't have a leadership style which fits into all situations. So depending on the situation, you need to change. And that is what contingency theories talked about. The fourth phase is the current phase, lasts about 20-25 years. Leadership is personalized. You need personalized approach, such as using 3-domain model for capacity building, which helps individuals and trainers in moving on leadership hierarchy in a simple, practical manner. All of you have been shared with the format of personal leadership development plan. This training is not going to give you anything which you will take back. You will only take back your personal leadership development plan. What are the areas in which you are strong and how will you maximize use of those strong? You already have those strengths. अगर आर्मी में उनके पास कौन सी जगुआर हवाई जहाज है वो सबसे ज्यादा कारगर है तो उसको यूज करो ना, उसको तो रखो। आप बोलो हमारे कमजोर हवाई जहाज है नेट वाले कौन से वो यूज करेंगे। So keep in mind, don't just focus on your weaknesses. Yes, you work on your weaknesses, but how can you maximize the skills in which you are already good? These are 5 levels of leader. And this is based on a study done by James T. Collins on 1,500 companies which are doing very well for last many years in the New York Stock Exchange. He found some of the companies were doing well, even 30, 50, 70, 100 years, continuously doing well. Then he started looking into, along with his team, looking into what makes these leaders or these organizations different. There were many factors, but the most important factor was they had visionary leaders. So we will look at what is the level 1, excellent technical person, very good cardiothoracic vascular surgeon we have with us, very good in that. Heart transplant, very good. But that is only level 1. When you move into, you can stay as a clinician, there is absolutely no problem, and stay as a level 1 expert known in your field with books and articles published. But to move to level 2, you have to become a contributing team member. If we have 5 of us in the team, another person comes, so we become 6. The output of the team was 5, and this person who comes has all the gold medals. So nursery से लेके MCA जितनी भी पढ़ाई है सब में गोल्ड मेडल मिले। He comes to you, क्या काम कर रहे हो बेकार, तुम नौकरी किसने दी? वो जो 5 का आउटपुट 5 था वो 0 भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि ये तो कुछ करता नहीं, गलतियां निकालता है। He knows, he is an expert in his field. Another person comes with same credentials. My God, you're doing great work. Well, how can I help you? And then the output will become 5 plus 1, maybe 10, maybe 12. The first person, technical expert, has no team skills and brings down the whole team down. So this is what we have to keep in mind, that we need to move up from level 1 to contributing team member. You have been a good contributing team member, as member of the faculty, not as head of the department, not as professor, but you are contributing. Everyone else with your inputs is doing an excellent work. You have been doing that, and then you are ready to move into level 3. You become a competent manager, either a team leader or heading an organization. Level 4 is you are ready to lead an organization. Like these 3 eminent persons have led many departments, so they have moved to level 4, and some of them have moved to level 5. Visionary leaders, we talked in the previous session. India में हेल्थ में visionary leaders के नाम Dr. Sushila Nair, we talked about Rajkumari Amrit Kaur. She was not a doctor, but she created All India Institute of Medical Sciences. उनकी copy बन रही है.
But I have a very strong emphasis.
Yes.
So, has anybody heard of Ramchandra Rao?
I heard of that name, but I don't know what was his
The
company.
best example for implementation research who combated smallpox, which became a world example. And he forgot. With very few vaccines, he thought their best to use these vaccines, and he saved a few million, 40 odd million lives. I don't have exact numbers.
This is what is the characteristics of visionary leaders. People may forget them, but the work they did continues. The leaders he or she created, they continue to lead exceptionally well. They are very humble, media में नहीं जाएंगे कभी, but very firm. नहीं ऐसे ही करना है. No compromise on value, no compromise on quality. I will produce the best. So they have combination of these two things which may sound contradictory: strong willpower and very humble. They put their foot down. अरे डॉक्टर आप क्या कर रहे हो? ऐसे थोड़ी करते हैं डॉक्टर. बड़े प्यार से वो बात करेंगे, and then the other person who is listening to him will not get annoyed, and they will carry that person with him. I am glad you gave that example.
So because why I wanted to share that is that probably encouragement to just about inspiration to everybody. This man was not a leader. He was just an ordinary doctor in the field when he was faced with a huge life-threatening challenge for the entire community. Then he stood up and actually emerged. He didn't have any position of power like some of the other things. And now.
So keep that in mind that we all aspire to reach visionary leadership, and then we have three of them who are
That's
already.
a situational leadership style. Situational leadership.
Situation will come to that. Will come to that. So because the leadership style you adopt has to be different for different situations. So that is what is referred to as situational leadership. This is the three domain model. The first one is your self domain. We talked about some of the skill, vision, values, self-awareness. He knows what he knows, he knows what he doesn't know. And what he doesn't know, he doesn't hesitate in asking, अरे ये तो मेरे को पता ही नहीं, आप मेरे को पढ़ाओगे? और मेरे को तो पता नहीं, आप lead दो इस area. This is not my area. So he is a leader, but he asks one of you to take a lead because that's not his area of expertise. So they know what they know. They also know what they don't know. Decision making. Decision making, especially when you are in an uncertain situation. Now we can think back, COVID-19 में इतना serious lockdown करने की जरूरत नहीं थी, but that's it. Somebody had to take a decision. What it did was it flattened the curve. If we had not put the strict lockdown, we would have had the peak much earlier. Because of the lockdown, the spread slowed down. Yes, now we can think that some of the people who were away from home, they got stuck. Daily wages laborers, no work, but they were stuck away from home. So some of those things we can always look at. So it depends on the situation, but you can always look back and learn from the situation. And good leaders always come back, no, that was my mistake, we shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have taken that decision. When you have resilience, your leadership is tested when you have a difficult situation. In ordinary situation, people are on auto mode, they continue to do their work, but when a difficult situation comes, or when some breakdown happens, they are the ones who come to the front. No, nothing to worry. Yes, we have had a setback, but tell us how we can move forward. So they are resilient. And then emotional competencies. We will talk about it. There is a session on that later. Dealing with difficult people. If I ask each one of you, you can name a number of people who have been difficult. But I prefer to call it not difficult people, I call it difficult behavior. You know, in your office, you are heading department, there must be somebody, I want to meet Dr. Sarfraz, mood कैसा है? ठीक है, चलो तो जाके मिलते हैं। मूड खराब है, आपसे जो भी गुजरा ऑफिस में उसको डांट कर रहे हैं, मैंने आज नहीं जाएंगे, कल जाएंगे। चाइल्ड, मामा का मूड ठीक है या पापा का मूड ठीक है? पापा मेरे को स्कूल ट्रिप में जाना है, आप हाँ कर दो। पापा ने हाँ कर दी, मामा को भी बोलेंगे जाके, हाँ मामा पापा ने हाँ कर दी। These are some of the things we need to deal with, not just at work, also in our family. So I prefer to call it difficult behavior, not difficult people. Each one of us is difficult sometime or the other. तो फाउस से भी झगड़ा करते हैं, नहीं ऐसा कैसे कर दिया तुमने? Because you are in some situation, maybe at work, or you are disturbed, and you do not live. First thing first, as I mentioned in the morning, nobody can manage time. Prime Minister Modi has exactly same 24 hours, not even a second more. The security guard of NAMF also has 24 hours, not a second more or less. Narendra Modi. Where they spend time makes a difference. So that is what is first. You have to decide your priorities. What are your priorities as an individual? What are your priorities as an organization? What are your priorities of the team which you are leading? So it's very important for you to decide on what are my priorities. And in your leadership development plan, first question is, where do you want to get 5 years, 10 years from now? Or if I can take further, at my age, I say, what I want people to remember me for.
Where do I want my team to be in 10 years from now?
Yes. So, at every stage in life, how you look at what you want to be 5 years, 10 years from now, that keeps changing. So don't feel bad about it कि अरे मैंने तो ये लिखा मेरी प्लान में, एक साल बाद आप change करो. But with that in mind, then you have your priorities. And leadership is not just work. Leadership is family. Leadership is social circle. I have come across in the UN, where I worked for more than 22 years, people who had 2-3 divorces. And I have often met them. I said, my wife's children are coming. But my wife's children came also. No, it's my previous wife's children who are coming to meet me. You come to know some of the thing. My half brother. हमने तो पता ही नहीं step brother सुना था, ये half brother previous marriage से जो हुए. So people have family breaking down because they do not give due attention to the family, and professionally, yes, they are doing exceptionally. So in your leadership, area, look at family, look at social circle, and of course your professional growth. So we don't want you to be a failure in family, in social circle, and only good in professional growth. So you can decide. And today, if I get a call from my home, my wife has some health problem, she is not well, I will drop everything and rush home. I will tell you my apologies, my wife has medical emergency, I have to go home. So at every moment you have to decide what is your priority now. If your child, you go home, no, मेरे को ये मिला, ठीक है, उसके लिए तो बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है, मिला आपके लिए नहीं हो, वहाँ दिखाओ मेरे को कहाँ ये मिला. So the child, so that is important for the child, so it should be important for you as well. The child will feel encouraged. When my daughters were in school, I started working for UNICEF. वो अपनी रिपोर्ट, एनुअल रिपोर्ट लेके आती थी, मैं उनको अपनी एनुअल कॉन्फिडेंशियल रिपोर्ट भी दिखाता था. अरे पापा इस एरिया में तो आपको 6 मिले, दूसरे में 4 क्यों मिले, उन्हें भी पूछ रहा तुम्हारे को क्यों मिले. You're open. Confidential report है, बट किसी से नहीं डिस्कस करनी, बच्चों से नहीं. You create that faith within the family. The child comes to you, हाँ पापा आज इसमें मेरे को नंबर कम मिले, इसलिए कम मिले. You want to discuss that, not shout at the child कि नंबर क्यों कम मिले, काम नहीं करता, मेरा नाम बदनाम करेगा, झाड़ू लगाएगा, चपरासी बनाएगा. You go to that extent, but look at it from that child point of view, what is important. So you have to decide on what is important for you at that particular point in time. Team and organizational domain is the next domain. Teamwork. We have talked a lot about teamwork and team leadership. Feedback is very important. The person will not improve unless you give feedback to that person. ठीक है, क्या जरूरत है, करेगा, मरेगा, जैसे करेगा, that is not a leader. I come to you, Dr. Ranandar, can we sit and have a talk? Take him to my office, give him a cup of tea, coffee. आपने कुछ काम किया ना, ये किया, हाँ सर किया. उसको बेहतर कैसे कर सकते हो? अरे आप करेंगे, गलत किया तुमने. I ask him, बेहतर सर ऐसे कर सकते हैं, ऐसे कर सकते हैं. I tell him, okay, go and do it. If you need any support from me, I am there to help you. Feedback is very, very important. We also call it sandwich approach to feedback. वो जो negative point है वो बीच में रखो, शुरू करो अच्छे point से, and oh my God, what good idea you have given, and let's follow from there. तो negative point है वो बीच में रह गया, or you start with something very positive. I am 100% sure. I have worked with many organizations, including heading 2 organizations, one government and one academic. You can always find something good in every person. Start with that. If you say, oh, साल में देखूंगा, बुला के डांटूंगा, that will not work. So you start with positive thing, bring that person. ये जो आपने काम किया आपको लगता है ठीक किया, नहीं कर रही, मुझे लगता है बेहतर कर सकता हूँ, and then you take that person forward. So keep in mind, all of you are leaders, what kind of feedback you give and how you give feedback is more important. Delegation, mentoring and coaching. It is your responsibility to mentor, coach your subordinates. Delegation is you give responsibility. नहीं साहब, we talked about it. नहीं सर मैं नहीं कर सकता, मैंने कभी नहीं किया. नहीं आप कर सकते हो. And then you observe that person. You are not washing your hands of responsibility. You give encourage that person, नहीं responsibility तो मेरी आप करो, गलत होगा तो मैं हूँ ना, and then gradually you give 100% and you don't monitor. You even give up monitoring because you are comfortable the person is able to perform. Very important for us to mentor and give responsibility to others. You will, as a leader, you will be able to give more time to strategic thinking. मेरा इंस्टीट्यूशन 5 साल में 10 साल में कहाँ पहुँचना है उसके लिए मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ. आप रूटीन काम में लगे रहोगे तो नहीं हो पाएगा. I give you my own example. मैंने टेलीफोन बिल अभी तो आप ऑनलाइन देते हो, टेलीफोन बिल, बिजली का बिल, हाउस टैक्स, वो सब देने के लिए खुद जाता था. And I was having an organization. मैंने कहा this is not the best use of my time. I gave it to myself. सर पर्सनल काम सेक्रेटरी को दे रहे हैं. मैं अगर पर्सनल काम नहीं दूंगा तो मेरा ऑफिशियल काम सब करता रहेगा. तो you have to take a call. And don't hesitate. सबके सामने बोला हाँ मेरा बिल जमा करा दो. And people should understand that I am saving time for my official work, which is strategic thinking. और बिजली का बिल जमा कराने में मैं क्या सीखूंगा? But if I focus on the institution I am heading, I will be able to contribute more. External environment, networking. सवेरे मैंने बात की ना, मैंने 2 लोगों को पकड़ लिया. एक तो कनाडा जाने के बारे में और एक अगले कोर्स में चेंज मैनेजमेंट कौन पढ़ाएगा उसके लिए. तो यू कीप योर आईज एंड ईयर्स ओपन एंड यू कैन मल्टीप्लाई योर इफेक्टिवनेस. I don't know anybody, but I know somebody who can help. So that is how your network helps you in doing things. Network is not only for work. Both me and my wife are doctors. I think most of you have that problem. मेरी छोटी बेटी डॉक्टर नहीं बनना चाहती तो और कुछ भी बनना चाहती थी. तो काउंसलिंग, साइकोलॉजी काउंसलिंग उसको बहुत अच्छा मेरे जॉब है. एम्स में बात की डॉक्टर देसाई से कि मेरी बेटी काउंसलिंग करना चाहती है, कैन यू टेक फॉर कपल ऑफ डेज. उसको पता लगे वहाँ से वापस बोल दूंगा तो बिल्कुल काउंसलिंग नहीं करना चाहते. यू नो यू हैव कॉन्टैक्ट्स थ्रू व्हिच नॉट ओनली एट वर्क इवन इन योर फैमिली लाइफ यू कैन बेनिफिट. सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू keep your network. Anticipating and managing change. That is the role of a leader. But that will happen when you look at what is happening in sectors other than health. Technology में क्या हो रहा है? Information technology में क्या हो रहा है? Because all those things will come and help you. Without piercing finger, you can do hemoglobin. That technology was there in agriculture. वो क्या क्लोरोफिल बोलते हैं ना, प्लांट के पत्ते पे रख के देख लेते थे. So that technology was adapted to health, and then you can do hemoglobin without functioning. So you have to keep your eye on other sectors, what is happening, and how that can be used for improving the work or the effectiveness of your organization. The self domain we have talked about. Communication की बात की हमने. When we teach communication, Vaishali is here. We do not teach speaking, public speaking. We only teach listening skills. Because the higher we go, the more resistant we become to listening. We are very fond of talking. उसकी तो सुनी नहीं आपने, जो जैसे मैंने कहा, you were diagnosing and treating a patient without asking history. So listening is very important in communication, and then you have change. Social, intellectual and emotional intelligence. When you have good emotional intelligence, you will be able to have more social intelligence. You anticipate when you are talking to a group, you anticipate what is going on. Are they with me or are they not with me? So all these, for intellectual intelligence it is also important. IQ test करते थे, अब नहीं करते. Because they found people who were talking like Bill Gates. He had all the toppers from his batch working under him. He did not even complete his course. So these are the people who know how to connect with people. Doctor, Mohit, you are doing a great work. How much are you getting? Sir, $10,000. $10,000 only. You are exceptionally good. Why don't you join my organization and give you $50,000? Oh, Mohit is happy. And what else you need? You need a house. You need a car. You know, these are the people who catch hold of exceptionally good people, give them encouragement, give them the resources they want. What do you want at work? You will be given all that which you want to have for doing your work. Values, behavior, everyone looks up to him for direction and guidance. There must be many residents under you or junior faculty under you वो खाली प्रोफेशनल प्रॉब्लम के लिए नहीं सर मैं आपसे बात कर सकता हूँ सर मेरे को घर में प्रॉब्लम तो आप शाम को डिनर पे आ जाओ या आधा घंटा बाहर चलते हैं वहाँ बैठ के बात करते हैं यू हैव बिल्ड ट्रस्ट इन दैट पर्सन गोज बियॉन्ड वर्क एंड यू can't say ये पर्सनल है मैं नहीं करूँगा many times you come across people this is your personal problem आप मेरे को आगे बोलते मेरा बच्चा बीमार है मैं घर जाना चाहती हूँ that's not my that's your family problem when you come to work take it out of your mind and a leader will do मैडम बच्चा बीमार है क्या हुआ फीवर है निमोनिया का डाउट है कहाँ लेके जाओगे सर पीडियाट्रिशियन है उसके पास लेके जाऊंगी अगर आप नहीं जानते तो मैं बताता हूँ उसके पास वो इमीडिएटली यू मस्ट अटेंड टू योर चिल्ड्रन आपका काम क्या है सर मेरे को रिपोर्ट बनानी है तो आप बच्चे को दिखा के आओगे तो आपके पास टाइम होगा रिपोर्ट बना कर हाँ सर बना सकते होल डे गिवन वो 1 घंटे 2 घंटे में डॉक्टर को दिखा के वापस आ गए हर वर्क इज डन तो यू कांट हैव दीज टू पार्टनर्स ए लीडर लुक्स एट your social need, your family need, and your professional work. Very often you must have come across, no, that's your personal life. That's your family life. When you come to work, leave your personal life and leave your family life at home. Give 100% to work. That doesn't help. You have to look at that individual as a whole. Transfer individuals in the organization, motivate them to get best out of them. And channel everyone's effort toward getting the best result for the team and for getting best result for the organization. And if you want to read more about it, the first person you lead must be you. This is written by a lady who was the first general in US Army. And she talks about her progress, in a world dominated by men, how she moves up in the hierarchy, and then after she quits army, she becomes a motivational leader, and she has written this book. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. मेरा दिल तो नहीं मानता पर करना पड़ रहा है, लीडर ऐसे नहीं करते. अगर उनका दिल नहीं मानता दे सिट डाउन एंड टॉक टू द टीम कि मेरा दिल नहीं माना आप बताओ कि क्या करना है नहीं करना है आपका दिल क्यों नहीं मानता वो भी बताओ then you come to an idea maybe you didn't know about something that thing is very important for your team and organization when you talk to the team they tell you and then you get convinced and you move so don't ignore your intuition and heart you be always intellectual है ना यहीं से सोचते हैं दिल से नहीं सोचते जब प्यार होता है तो दिल से होता है आदमी दुनिया में कुछ भी करने को तैयार रहते हैं यहाँ से अगर करोगे तो कभी नहीं होगा आपको 10 गलतियाँ मिलेंगी दूसरे पर्सन में इवन आफ्टर मैरिज यू विल हैव प्रॉब्लम बिकॉज यू विल फाइंडिंग मिस्टेक्स deficiencies in your spouse and you will have problems so listen to the heart and your intuition what does it say team that is the next domain and this is a team which wants to go to the top to fix something on the rooftop. They help each other to get there. एक नीचे से सीढ़ी पे पकड़ा रहा है क्योंकि ऊपर वाला भी पहुंच नहीं सकता वहाँ पे he puts a staircase and then he puts a ladder and then he goes up. So the whole team is contributing. कोई नीचे खड़ा है, कोई ऊपर खड़ा है, कोई resources लेके आ रहा है, and that is what this picture signifies. Enable the organization by developing individuals through developing skills to achieve the organization goal and execute that. Your goal is what the organization needs to achieve in 5 years. So everything you are doing, resource allocation, motivating people, bring them all in one line. और रस्सा कैसे देखिए आपने? अगर आधे लोग दूसरी तरफ खींचेंगे और आधे लोग दूसरी तरफ खींचेंगे तो you can never win. All of you और एक क्या करते हैं जब रस्सा कैसे करते हैं ना एक रस्सा नहीं खींचता उनको जोश देता हाँ खींचो 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 So the leader does that. रस्सा नहीं खींच रहा but he is motivating everyone to do that. So you can have so many examples from your day-to-day life. In constant touch with his employees through formal and informal network. Very important for you to know. Some trouble is brewing. आप किसी से बात ही नहीं करते जिस दिन वो धमाका हो जाएगा उस दिन आपको पता लगेगा but through your formal contacts, through your informal contacts, you know something is going, and you can nip the evil in the bud. Changes his approach, and that's what was referred to as situational leadership. Changes his approach based on what he learns through the network and maximizes effort to achieve the organization goal. He is not fixed to one approach of leadership. एक जगह democratic है, एक जगह dictatorial है, and a democratic leader can become a dictatorial. We have an example, one of the Prime Minister, when the court gave a verdict, emergency, everybody's rights are trampled. And then after that period was over, she came back and she won an election and came back to power. So every situation demands different kind of leadership. Anticipates and adapts organization to change, we talked about it. World outside the very important for you to know what is happening. What are the priorities? For example, when we were writing national health policies 2017, where would you start? And you know what where do you start? You look at where do you look at? Party manifesto. We looked at BJP party manifesto and Congress. In fact, the policy has more things from Congress manifesto than from BJP manifesto. And then, after if you
धीरे-धीरे बोल धीरे-धीरे बोल पे सुनना है.
I'm not in favor of one or the other, but I am giving you an example. Then we went a step further. Every party has a constitution. We went to their website and looked at BJP constitution there, Congress constitution there. Not just the ruling party, but also opposition party. सबसे ज़्यादा शोर तो वही बचाएंगे पार्लियामेंट से health policy there. So you go beyond, and that's when then you sit down with experts like all of you, situational analysis, infant mortality कम नहीं हो रही, कौन से reason है जो कम नहीं हो रहे, कौन से reason है जिनमें कम हो रही, neonatal mortality and all those things. Then the technical work starts. But it starts by looking at the outside world. Otherwise, you will make a policy which will be thrown in the trash bin. It will never be adopted because you have not looked at the priorities of the politician. हम बोलेंगे नहीं, हम तो एक्सपर्ट हैं, पॉलिसी बनाने में इतनी बनाई है, बनाते हैं ना, सिचुएशन एनालिसिस से शुरू करते हैं. But you have to go beyond that. Build an organization for future. What is changing? Push your people to take additional responsibility. Laparoscopy शुरू हुई थी, traditional surgery चलती थी. Some people took interest and moved in that direction. New and new technologies are coming, and a leader has to push forward. This is new approach, and you need to go and get trained in that. Leader does not go for training, but he identifies people who go for the training and then pick up things which will make this organization for future. Keeps an eye on how organization is perceived to benefit the society. Not only looking at organization inside, you also look at all of you are either heading departments, they are heading universities and institutions. Patient जब जाता है तो आप feedback लेते हैं. एक भारत सरकार ने ऐप शुरू की है मेरा अस्पताल. वो पेशेंट जब बाहर जाता है या तो मोबाइल फोन से कर सकता है या वेबसाइट पे जाके कर सकता है, और जो नहीं कर सकते उनको फॉर्म दे देते हैं, वो फीडबैक देते हैं. That feedback is analyzed. How your hospital is going. You say हम तो फंडे का सबसे बढ़िया सर्विस दे रहे हैं, state of the art, but how the beneficiary for whom you are working, how he perceives. So you have to keep an eye on that. Develops a strong network beyond the organization. खाली organization और sector में नहीं, बाहर भी. This is to come back to what aspects of leadership, self-leadership, lateral leadership, peers, आप head of the department है, बाकी head of the departments आपके relations कैसे. In the management meeting, all head of the departments are there with the director. You have already worked with 3 other head of the department. How do you feel about it? Can I propose? नहीं करो, हम आपको support करेंगे. Things start moving much faster. If you think I am Kamnega, why should I talk to anybody? You propose something and it is shot down. So that is how it is important for you to keep lateral leadership, leading up. I was a failure in leading up till I did my MBA and learned about leading. Boss को तो पता होना चाहिए मैं इतना काम करूँ. Why should I go and tell about चमचागिरी, makhan lagana. These are the terms we were using. If somebody was, boss has to know what you are doing. Boss has to know what problem you are facing. So keep in mind that you manage not just your team, not just your peers, you manage up. वो कैसे करोगे? Know the priorities. We are not going into details. Know the priorities of your boss. Know the likes and dislikes of your boss. Know that your boss wants to have face-to-face discussion, or he is happy, he or she is happy with an email or some written document. Each one of us has different inclination. Some people want to discuss face to face. तो face to face discuss उसका email भेजो पड़ेगा ही. आपको बोलेगा काम थोड़ा सा हुआ नहीं, जैसा मैंने email भेजी, you will have problems there. So you need to know your boss well. Before that, know yourself well. बॉस को जाके क्या बोलोगे? आप खुद को ही नहीं जानते. सर, I am good at it. Sir, can I take additional responsibility in this area? Sir, I am weak in this. How can I get better at it? You should know yourself, and you should know the boss and his priorities and organizational priorities. Then you will be able to leading down तो हम ऐसे ही करते हैं, but leading up नहीं करते. So keep that. There are books on leading up. Harvard Business Review has a collection on managing up. I can give you reference in the WhatsApp group, and you can buy that online. Leadership myopia. What do you understand? Myopia हम सारे समझते हैं. Everywhere अच्छे से पढ़ाया जाता है. What do you understand from leadership myopia? Myopia का application है leadership में. These are the leaders who don't look beyond. Narrow vision, yes. जैसे myopia ना इतना दिखाई देता है, उसके आगे नीचे unless I wear myopic, unless I wear glasses, I will not be able to look at your face clearly. Tubular vision.
Tunnel vision.
Tubular vision. So, and to give you an example, मेरे को medical field का example नहीं मिला. हम जब बच्चे थे ना, तो एक कंपनी थी ईस्टमैन कोडर. वो बॉक्स जैसा कैमरा आता था, उसको ऐसे लेके करते थे और लोगों को बोलते थे अभी हिलना नहीं, क्योंकि उसको 10 सेकंड 15 सेकंड लगते थे पिक्चर लेने में. तो लीडर्स उनकी फिल्म सब खरीदते थे, उनके कैमरे सब खरीदते थे. एंड देन थिंग्स स्टार्टेड चेंजिंग. और 2012 में उनकी बैंकरप्सी हो गई. दे फाइल फॉर बैंकरप्सी. जो पैसा उनके पास था उससे कहीं ज्यादा उनके देनदारियां थी, and they got into trouble. And then some wise person came over and he said, now we have to move into digital photography, and they created a site. If you take a picture, you want to upload it, उनकी एक website है, अपने friends को बोलो वहाँ जाके देखिए. So they started, they never recaptured that position, which was #1 position. So this is called leadership myopia, because you don't see beyond something. Even your staff comes to tell you, नहीं हमें तो कल की बात करेंगे, 5 साल 10 साल किसने देखा. That is what you have to keep in mind as a leader. Health में क्या हो रहा है? Increasing attention to health as a human right and universal health coverage. Private sector is expanding. Whether you like it or not, it is expanding. You need to collaborate with private sector, and if you are in government senior position, you have to make sure that you have governance which regulates private sector. Social determinants of health are getting more attention. We talked in the morning. More than 90% of health come from hotel. हमारे लोग कब आते हैं अस्पताल में? When health breaks down. मैं जब cardiothoracic surgeon की बात, sir I am healthy sir, मैं क्या करूँ ताकि मेरा heart ठीक रहे? He will not have time for me. He has patients lined up. So you go to healthcare system only when it breaks down. There are some interventions for prevention like child immunization, adult immunization, antenatal care, postnatal care, where you pick up problems early and you manage the problem. Technology application we have talked about. This is what I was referring to in the morning. Comfort zone. None of us was born as a driver. गाड़ी कुछ पैदा होते सीखी नहीं थी. When you started learning driving, what was your problem? Any one of you?
My father.
Your father. Was it in your comfort zone?
I was 11 when I started learning.
Okay.
So मैं गाड़ी की चाबी चुरा के got my younger brother to push it 100 meters away from the home in the middle of the night.
So then what did you hear?
My father. probably would not have written it.
Definitely a father.
So he was not a problem. I anticipated that he would say no. So छुप के बिना इंजन के पहले धक्का लगवाया छोटों से.
So he had to move out of his comfort zone. चाबी चुराई, brother को बोला धक्का देके दूर करो. He will not do that in public. So that was moving beyond. And some of us were hesitant. I remember मैंने जब गाड़ी चलानी सीखी, टू व्हीलर तो चलाता था, कार नहीं चलाता था. तो मेरे ऑफिस का एक ड्राइवर था. वो ने सर मैं सिखाऊंगा. He was not a good teacher. He was a good driver. Keep in mind that everybody who is good as a clinician or as a technical person is not a good teacher. He was not a good teacher. 2 दिन के बाद मैं तो हाथ पाँव भूल गया, मैं तो गाड़ी चला ही नहीं सकता था. एयरपोर्ट तक था, उसको खड़ा कर दिया. तो लोगों ने पूछा कि आप गाड़ी क्यों नहीं चलाते, खड़ी क्यों कर दी. मैंने कहा मैं नहीं चला सकता क्योंकि मेरा जो ड्राइवर मेरे को बता रहा था, मुझे नहीं लगा वो बता रहा. नो 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 नो, विल गेट यू अनदर पर्सन टू टीच. सो वी हायर्ड ए प्रोफेशनल ड्राइविंग टीचर. 2 दिन में आई वाज अप एंड रनिंग. So you have to move out of that comfort zone. Comfort की बात आती है fear zone. क्या होगा, एक्सीडेंट हो जाएगा, क्या होगा. और पहली बार मैंने गाड़ी किसको मारी, इंस्पेक्टर पुलिस को. एम्स वाले कैंपस में सर उधर था, UCMS में मेरे को जॉब मिली थी. तो मैं सब जगह के क्रॉस करके आया और मेरे से गाड़ी रुकी नहीं. वो एक पुलिस वाला फॉर्चुनेटली आया कि रेड क्रॉस हमने
इकबाल तो नहीं था
इकबाल हमारे कैंपस का था.
उसने मेरे को बोला रेड क्रॉस लेके डॉक्टर साहब हमारा तो ख्याल करो, मैं बच गया. तो यू आर ऑलवेज स्कैर्ड कि एक्सीडेंट भी होगा. Learning zone, when you got over your comfort zone, you got over your fear zone, then the learning start. Then somebody told me go on intercity driving. Intercity driving from Isa, 180 kilometers from Delhi. तो चला के जाओ. मैंने हाँ हाँ चला के जा. तो मैं और मेरे साथ मेरी बीवी, मैंने उसको बगल में नहीं उठाया, मैंने कहा पीछे बैठो, पता नहीं मेरे से चले गए. एंड व्हेन आई केम बैक आई वाज कंप्लीटेड. सो दैट टेकिंग कार आउट ऑन लॉन्ग ट्रिप. At one point it happened. वो हरियाणा रोडवेज, पहले जो हरियाणा में एक्सीडेंट सारे हरियाणा रोडवेज वाले, और अंदर सड़क नैरो थी, 2 गाड़ियाँ आ सकती थी. तो एक गाड़ी तो हमारे डायरेक्शन में जा रही थी, मैं थोड़ा स्लो था. दूसरी गाड़ी उसको ओवरटेक करने आ रही थी और भी ये मुझे हिट मी हेड ऑन. तो मैंने कच्चे में उतार दी गाड़ी और उसके बाद 15 मिनट तक मेरे हाथ पैर फूले गए. तो यू हैव टू लर्न. एंड देन आई लर्न कि अगर कोई गलत भी चला के आता है, यू कैन सेव योरसेल्फ, यू कैन सेव योर फैमिली मेंबर्स in the car and then go. इन सब से बाहर निकलने के लिए
you need somebody to push you also in this. Because my younger brother, he would sit with me and say, "Chala, go." He didn't know how to do it. But he said, once he sat down, he said, "Now you drive with the engine."
Again, leadership skills. So गाड़ी आपकी थी कि पापा की थी? गाड़ी पापा की थी.
मैंने जब 2 व्हीलर चलाना सीखा ना, मैं मेडिकल स्टूडेंट में, तो मेरे दादाजी का जब पार्क में, तो फूफा जी का स्कूटर था. मैंने कहा मैं चलाऊंगा, मैं खरीदना चाहता हूँ. उन्होंने कहा 2 चक्कर कटवाए और मैं वापस आया तो मेरी बुआ कहती मैं बैठूंगी पीछे, और मैं डर गया, हाथ पैर फूले कि ये बैठने को नहीं तो चला रहा, ठीक चला रहा. एंड देन you know got over it. So you're right, somebody has to push you out of your comfort zone, beyond your fear zone, and then you learn. Who's doing it in your work? Your boss.
I want to say something.
जी.
Trying to learn, coming out of this fear zone and learning, making you the victim of his learning. Like my brother used to drive bicycle, and he used to ask me to piche baith ja. And many times I had to face the music of his learning.
Okay.
That many times. So that was my experience of his leadership and his learning lessons.
Why did you sit behind him?
I'm the youngest one, and he's the elder brother. He made me sit
दादागिरी.
पीछे बुला के साइकिल पे डबली करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं और गिराने बार-बार.
I was fortunate मैंने अपनी बुआ को नहीं गिराया.
Never died like this.
So who will push you out of your comfort zone? जी.
I'd like to give a practical example to this slide. I give my example.
जी.
Sir, I'm an ENT surgeon, trained robotic surgeon. Few robotic handling surgeon, I'm one of them. I was very happy where I was working in my previous institute. And I was heading the department and having a very good work there. Suddenly I appeared for the interview, got selected as a director at the institute. So it was shift from a comfort zone to fear zone. So I kept on thinking whether I should switch over because I'm going to head SU, I have no idea about recruitment, procurement in so depth as it is required by the chair. But what happened, I took 3 months to decide whether I should take the chair or not. So everyone who met me was questioning, "Aap tak gaye nahi? Aap abhi tak gaye nahi?" So they were pushing me to the fear zone that I was looking for a person who can say कि आप मत जाओ. But I could not find a person who could say मत जाओ. So I took a jump from comfort to fear zone. When I took the chair, then it was a challenge. It's means you to start from scale 0. So it was procurement, recruitment, construction and whatnot to manage. So that is the learning zone. And I think when I complete my tenure, I will come into the growth zone.
And
I think this is a better example.
Sometimes this zonal concept is good to discuss and understand, but sometimes things happen out of our control. 32 years I was a cardiothoracic surgeon operating day in and day out. Suddenly I was put in stay on the hospital, including my driver would say, "You're so soft, how can you be a right hand?" So 6 months now over, the press came to me and said, "In fact, there will be a lot of opposition, but how did you manage all these people?" So sometimes, it's in biology more than a critical thing.
Well, in our professional life, we have talked about driving and cycling. In our professional life, you gave 2 examples, which are very good examples.
Small example I give. We were planning to start this first heart transplant in Hyderabad, Nizam's day. Then they said there was only one Apollo group who were doing it. So they wanted to, the director then wanted them to come and do the operation. They said, "I am trained enough. As long as I am here, I will not." So it went on the discussion on WhatsApp till almost 11 o'clock in the night. Then I said, "I am doing it," and I switched off to my phone and went for the transplant. The rest was history. Then the only thought I thought was, if I fail and if I have to Nizam Institute of Medical Sciences, I thought this was the right cause for which I should leave. So that made me come out of all that comfort and fear and all those zones, and the rest was a history.
It is not always the boss. I give you an example. I was posted in Balapur, Dr. Y.K. Gupta, field practice area. It was 60-bedded hospital and gynecologist. In the middle of the night, I get a call. There is a woman who was delivered a baby and is bleeding profusely. हाथ बलता बलता पहुंचा ओटी में ले गए थे ऑलरेडी ग्रेट फोर्टियर बोलते हैं ना पूरा वेजाइना से लेके पेनस तक मेरे तो हाथ पैर फूल गए पसीना आ गया द सीनियर ओटी नर्स वाज लुकिंग एट मी डॉक्टर चिंता मत करो मैं बताऊंगी आपको कैसे करना एंड शी guided me and I sutured. Next day morning when the senior resident came from Delhi, तो उसको मैंने बताया ये हुआ था मैंने हाथ लगाऊंगी जो आपने किया बहुत अच्छा किया not just your bosses, your colleagues push you out of your comfort zone. So you have to keep in mind and that is a good team player. You encourage each other. आपके brother को आपने encourage किया आपके brother ने खुद driving किया नहीं बैठा मैं हूँ ना साथ में You know, it's not just the bosses. Bosses का तो काम ही आपको push करना beyond your level of comfort. This is what happens. Your comfort zone expands. You were not comfortable earlier. आपने risk लिया, सीखा, and then you have more and more things you can do. So that expands. So आपके बाहर वाले जो zone है, वो कम होते जाते हैं. And what the bosses do? Annual performance review हमारे academic institution में इतना नहीं होता, private sector में बहुत है. They give you what they call a stretch assignment. आपने अब तक नहीं किया ना, आप excellent काम कर रहे हो, you get almost all A's or A plus whatever is the highest. And the boss is looking at how can you move up in the hierarchy. वो आपको बोलता है आप दो काम दो करोगे, and some of us हाँ सर करूँगा मैंने कभी किया नहीं है, वो कहते नहीं मैं तुम्हें guide करूँगा, और I will ask someone else to guide you. He is preparing you to move up. These are known as stretch assignments, which you have never done, what your boss wants to do. If you do not do it, your performance will not be evaluated because of stretch of assignment. But if you do, you will be moving up, you will be doing more things, heart transfer अभी किया, तो आपने खुद को push किया, and then you were doing heart transplant. So this is what we want to do. This is a person who was not confident, नहीं कर सकता हूँ, नहीं कर सकता, ड्राइव कर सकता मैं. And this is a person who becomes confident. I can do more than. So he will then be looking at stretch assignment. Sir, ये तो मैंने कर लिया, और क्या कर सकता हूँ? And then the boss helps that person to take on more responsibilities. You cannot change your future, but you can change your habits, and surely your habits will change your future. This is what is leadership. आज नहीं आप सोचोगे ऑन कर दिया मैंने लीडरशिप के डायल पे सुई चली गई मैं लीडर हूँ. It's a behavior change which takes time. You falter. Even after doing emotional competencies, at times I lose temper. I get restless. That's not it. In the evening I reflect. रात को मैं दो काम करता हूँ. एक तो भगवान को धन्यवाद करता हूँ, मेरा दिन निकला बहुत अच्छा निकला, मुझे सीखने को मिला. जिन लोगों ने मेरे साथ बुरा किया उससे भी मैंने सीखा. अगले दिन सवेरे उठ के बोलता हूँ, माय गॉड, आई एम 70, आई एम स्टिल अलाइव. भगवान मुझे शक्ति दे.
Some of the things I went through the course material, the ideal leader, the descriptions, the virtues, the qualities. You need to realize you are human first.
Yes, बिल्कुल सही.
And if you can't click or tick some of those boxes, it doesn't really matter. Some of these things, I mean, one person here who can say he never got angry, or she, then they are not human. I have not seen the computer getting angry. 404 error, all that aa jayega, control, but they, so I think.
But you reflect on it. Yeah. आगे से इस situation में, you know your trigger, what annoys you. तो वो जो ट्रिगर होगा ना उसमें आपको ध्यान रखना है. इसने काम नहीं किया. And I unfortunately had to terminate 2 people when I was working in UN. One was a British logistics manager. He was managing logistics in division. He was not trained as a logistician. He was a doctor. Trained as a doctor, very good doctor. तो logistics में उसकी ट्रेनिंग नहीं थी. मैंने उसको बोला आपको मैं 6 महीने एक्सटेंड देता हूँ, आप ये काम करो. नहीं किए तो एक ही काम देता हूँ, अगले 3 महीने में करो. वो 3 महीने पूरे होने से पहले आ गया, सर मेरा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्सटेंड मत करो, आई विल गो बैक. तो उसकी फेयरवेल पार्टी मैंने अपने एंड नथिंग पर्सनल अगेंस्ट हिम. आई वांटेड हिम टू पिक अप द स्किल्स फॉर व्हिच ही वाज हायर्ड. So he went back to UK. 2 साल बाद he sent me an email, sir, I have completed my logistics course. I have applied for this post in UNICEF. This post पे तो उससे level higher. So I gave a statement that this person is self-aware. He knows what he knows. He knows what he doesn't know, and makes an active effort to learn what he doesn't know. He got the job. He got the job. So you have to take action at time, but take it in a way that other party. So the other person who might go to argue मेरे को गाली देती. So you have different types of people whom you can talk to. They understand why you are doing what you are doing. You can continue to do that. So we pushed him out of his comfort zone. He went and did his master and came back to UNICEF. This is what you are doing in this course. You are doing self-directed leadership learning. What do you have? Ownership of learning. I will drive my learning. आपकी personal leadership learning. I will decide what I need to do, what I need to learn. So it's all driven by you. Extension of own learning. This I do not know. I need to learn something more. So you add 1 or 2 skills which you probably don't have. Management of and monitoring of your skills. आपकी personal leadership development plan. Monitor करना आपको. अदरवाइज वो लेके डालिए कोने में, दिवाली से पहले सफाई की हो रही है तो मेरी लीडरशिप डेवलपमेंट put it under maybe your office table if you have a class. When I was doing MBA, I never slipped up on my assignment that I was doing a full-time job. Why? I had one deadline slip under my class, one with my secretary. वो भी आप सर आपकी assignment ड्यू कर ली, मैंने काम कर ली. तीसरा, मेरे घर में जो मैं दाढ़ी बनाता सबको बनाने मन करती, तो जो मिरर था बाथरूम में उस पर लगा दिया, जो दाढ़ी बनाता सब देखता था, मेरी असाइनमेंट भी हो रही. So you have to find ways and means of keep reminding yourself so that you don't slip up and one day suddenly you wake up and decide कि ऐसा हुआ नहीं है. Articulate learning gaps. That is what you are doing. What are the weaknesses you call it? I prefer to call it areas for improvement. So you identify that. Set learning goal. कब तक करना है? तो smart goals आप लोग पढ़ाते हैं ना, smart objectives. You have to do that. Apply learning in new concepts. जो आपने सीखा है, ड्राइविंग सीख ली, मैंने अरेबिक सीखी, मैं इराक में कोर्स था, प्रैक्टिस ही नहीं की, नाउ मैं एज गुड एज जीरो. तो नंबर बड़े अच्छे हैं, 3 एग्जाम हुए थे, 98 तो मतलब मिनिमम स्कोर आएगा. तो आई एम जीरो. So what you learn, you have to practice and learn beyond the curriculum. Don't confine, otherwise you will not grow. You will remain in whatever curriculum you have. Explore alternatives and make sound decisions. When you have 2-3 options to make a decision, we will come to it. We have a decision-making session with emotional competence and critical thinking. You choose the best alternative. So even in learning, you have to decide. You know, first few courses, Vaishali is there. They come with a shopping list. सब कुछ जैसे वो सेनानी इलेक्शन में एडवर्टाइजमेंट था मनी करके आपको याद होगा सर. सारे घर पे बदल दूंगा. एक बार बदलना, सारे घर पे बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है. You have all the skills listed कि मैं सारे सीख लूँगा, नहीं सीख सकते. So you have to pick up. This is what I'll do in next 3 months. This is what I'll do in next 3 months after that, and you keep moving in that direction. Don't put everything together. Formulate question and generate your own inquiry. What you want to learn, why you want to learn that, and that will motivate you further. Plan and manage workload and time effectively and efficiently. We do not have a session on time management, but you have done an exercise. From that exercise, you identify which are the areas which you can do without, which are the areas which are important. If you have read Stephen Covey, there is a matrix: urgent and important, not urgent and important. ये सबसे जरूरी होता है. Self development में यहाँ से urgent important नहीं, आज शाम तक कर लो, सीखने वाला आता है. Then you have not urgent, not important. That is known as quadrant of waste. So you can put in this 2x2 table where you are spending not only at work, at home. एक बार सर्फिंग शुरू कर दी, चैनल की चलते हुए देखना तो कुछ और था, पहुंच के और गए. And you realize after half an hour you are not done what you were supposed to. Sir, आप कुछ कह रहे थे?
We went through these 5 assignments, that mind, soul, kit. So that is the first one. You click calculate score, it gives you a score. Then you did the second assignment and calculate score. Then I went on to the time management. Then I hit that calculate score was not blue, it was light blue, you couldn't click it. And another thing it came, I hope you enjoyed the other 2 resources. Kindly register before the next one. And it had some exorbitant rate. Then, where is Dr. Umesh? He sent me the same link. So I went on that, it said you already done 2, kindly register. So I think I communicated that to you, I bought it. And I was very hopeful in getting very good marks because I did anybody else face this issue?
Yes, sir. They do training in leadership and different aspects of it. वो चाहते हैं कि आप उनके जाओ. तो मैं भी यही करता हूँ. एक डाउनलोड कर लेता हूँ and they also good training. तो एक डाउनलोड करो, फिर 1 महीने तक नहीं करना, फिर उसको दूसरा डाउनलोड करो. Thank you, sir, for reminding. So you have to see. If you want to play, fine. If you don't want to play, you can find out ways and means of doing it. And then these are principles of adults learning. All of you are aware. We are not children, we are adults, and we will learn only what we want to learn. Monitoring of the personal plan is very important. Take out your pre-course assignments and note areas you have identified as strong and areas for improvement. Prepare your personal leadership plan using the format. We send you a format, but you can change it whatever way you want because it is your plan. Focus on skill based on review of pre-workshop assignment, the discussion we are having now, and we will also have online sessions, 2 sessions online, maybe 1 or 2 skills we will cover, and then we will also ask you what is the feedback on your plan. Identify new skills, identify time-bound actions you want to do. उसके बिना नहीं होगा, open रखोगे तो कभी नहीं होगा. Maximize your strength, we have talked about it. वो तो हैं आपके पास, जगुआर खड़े हैं आपके पास अम्बाला कैंट में जहाँ भी हैं, अब उनको ही नहीं यूज़ करें, आप अपने पुराने नेट म्यूजियम से निकाल रहे उनको यूज़ कर रहे हैं, वो नहीं काम करेंगे. So use your jaguars, your strength, what you are really good at. What many times you don't recognize your strength, others come and tell you. डॉक्टर साहब आप इसमें बहुत अच्छे हैं, तो listen to others as well. What experience, resources or connection do you have to access and to access that which others don't have? Take advantage of your networking. One cannot build performance on weaknesses, let alone something one cannot do at all. So focus on your strength. Yes, you can cover the weaknesses, or some of the weaknesses you don't want to do. You will ask statistics में अच्छे नहीं है, for example. You will ask a statistician. You can never be as good as faculty who teaching statistics. You can know the basics, but take help from that person. So you identify what you want to learn and where you will get help from others. Address your weaknesses. We have talked about. Take home messages. The theories of leadership have evolved and now focus is on skills we can learn. To acquire new leadership skills, one needs to move beyond comfort zone. 3-domain model of leadership capacity building incorporates the key characteristics of a good leader, how she makes her team achieve organizational goals and benefit the society. Leadership development is lifelong, based on 4 interconnected steps: fact, reflect, act and review. Thank you.